Okay, here we are. We are live. Hi, how are you? Hello, hello. It's Monday in New Jersey. It's 2 o'clock. So if you're joining me, this is the Monday Mindset, Monday Mindset Magic. Just a couple things to maybe prompt you, give you something to focus on, to have some intention for your week, right? So to just create your week, starting with your Monday in a way that really serves you and serves your life. So that's what my Monday lives are about. So if you're listening somewhere, this is streaming in a few different places. I would love to know it. Say hello. If you're catching the replay and you have any comments or about this or any other questions, but definitely about this. If you've tried some of the stuff that we talk about on Mondays, if you have something better that you want to share, I would love to hear it. Okay. So if you're listening now or later, please pop in and share any of that. So today for Monday, what I wanted to talk about was something that really takes a skill, I think, or at least it did for me, and it does for most of the people I know and the people that I work with. And it's the skill of taking whatever happens in your life and flipping it in a way so that you can see it as a win. And I'm going to share a very specific example with you from my life. And it's a pretty significant, extreme example, but I'm purposely doing that to drive the point home. All right. But what I want to talk about is just actually getting in practice. So the way our brain works is to protect us, right? It's looking for where's the problem, what's wrong. And so your brain is constantly, our brains are all constantly kind of looking at what do I need to do to protect this person. And so we tend to see things as like, okay, is there a problem there? Is there something there I need to address? That's just right off the bat without any history in your life, right? But then there's the history of your life of things that have happened in the past and things that you remember and caused problems. And so now you're thinking not only the way you're built to think, but then also with all those past experiences on top. And so we tend to really see things from a stressful point of view. So if we can start to practice a skill of saying, okay, this is what just happened. How can I change it in a way so that it occurs to me like a win? How can I change it? Otherwise, life can really feel like it is completely dominating you or really holding you down. And we want to start to feel like we have some say in how it goes and we have some control in how it goes. So this can be a really good skill to develop. And so what you want to do is every time something happens and you might notice, hi, good Monday, hi, it just says Facebook user, so I can't say your name, but thanks for joining. And please, if you have something to share about this, I would love to hear it. But something happens and right away we're off to the races in our thoughts, right? Like, oh my God, I can't believe that happened, or what I need to do to go now handle this, um, whatever it may be. And those things are happening on a daily basis. And then they're also happening when the really big events in our life show up. You know, we lose someone. Hey, entity. Hi, Facebook user. I don't know who you are, but hi. Um, but when really big events show up, we get betrayed by someone. A relationship ends. A job changes that we weren't counting on or wasn't necessarily our choice. Like some things, those big things, we lose someone in our life. And those really big things make it very difficult to see how is that a win for me? But the better you get at doing that, the more your life will change. So it's asking yourself some important questions um, when you can actually just calm your thinking down and take a step back. And so those questions might be, okay, hi. Thank you, Marion. Um, yeah, I can't, it depends where you're coming from because this is streaming in a few places. Um, so anyway, ask yourself some important questions. So, you might have that initial stress response, that initial, and your heart is racing and your breathing goes up and you're a little bit like, oh my God, what am I going to do? Or what just happened? But then if you can use some tools to calm your body down, some deep breathing, whatever it is that you do, that could be another topic. So I'll just leave that. But whatever it is that you do to calm your body down, then take a step back and start to ask yourself some questions like, what could actually be happening here that's a benefit to me? How can I win from this? How is this going to improve my life in some way? And even if you can't see that, like you're just in it and you can't really see that, you can start to leave the door open to, is it possible my life could be better in some way? I don't see how yet. I'm not sure what that would look like, but I'm going to accept that it's possible. Let's start there. So that's another thing that you can check in with or ask yourself. You could also say, what have I experienced before in my life that was similar to this that I overcame, that I figured out, that actually did bring me some to a better place? When else did that happen in my life? Because if you start to look, you're probably going to see that there are other situations throughout your life where something felt very similar. Again, it could be a change in a relationship, a loss of someone, and you did get to the other side of it. And you just have to remind yourself, I can do that. Oh, and then what actually was great for me when I got there. So, as I said, I wanted to share a particular specific example from my life. Um, I think sometimes it sounds a little like to people, but I'm going to share it anyway. So, if you don't know me, one of the things in my life is that I lost a daughter. My daughter passed away a few years ago. She was 15, and it was a week after her 15th birthday, and she was born with catastrophic medical issues. She had open heart surgery on the night that she was born. She had a second open heart surgery. She had a stroke. She needed a kidney transplant um, before she was 2 years old. And then when she was 8 years old, she got cancer in her brain. She had 3 tumors, which was the result of the immunosuppression drugs from the transplant that she needed to stay on. And so we did chemo for 2 years. She actually overcame that, but then her transplanted kidney started to fail, and she passed away when she was 15. And so for this conversation, what I'm going to say is it's actually a win for me to have had the experience of losing a child. And that's why I say people sometimes are shocked. It didn't feel that way when it was happening. It took me a while to get there, but let me explain to you why I can say that. So, because, that is something, and I talk to women all the time. And if you have a loss, like the loss of a child, that is something that can alter your life and hold you down for the rest of your life. It absolutely can. And no one would even judge you for that, right? Because it's one of those things that we all agree shouldn't happen. But if you don't want to be under the sadness of that for the rest of your life, if you want to actually take it and say, okay, how can I use this? Because I can't change it. She's not coming back, and she wouldn't want me to feel that way. And um, it doesn't diminish what she went through or the loss of her life. It doesn't do any of that. It just gets me to move forward, right? So coming from that place, in case it feels something else to you. But so what I can do is say, okay, how is that a win for me? Well, number one, most people do not get to attend their child's memorial service, right? That's just not how it usually works. But in that experience, I saw and experienced with all of my senses and in my body, I got to experience the impact that my daughter had on the world. People stood up and talked about her and who she was. The doctors so we live in New Jersey, and her hospital, she was rushed into New York, and really New York became our hospital home base because she was complicated enough to need that kind of support. And so I looked out, and not only were there, over the course of her viewing and her service, there were probably 400 plus people that came. which is extraordinary for a special needs child who was 15 years old, right? That's extraordinary for anybody. And then I saw doctors from the kidney department in New York. We're in central New Jersey. They made the trip out for her service. And then at the celebration of life, I saw the head of pediatric surgery at our lunch for her. Also, he lives in New York. He came out to central New Jersey. So, you know, taking something that I wish hadn't happened. I would love to still have her. Hush, I'm sorry. But it did happen, and seeing, oh my God, what a gift that I get to see the impact that my child had, right? Most parents don't see that. We go to our parents' services and we see the people from their life. So that was number one. That was a place that I could pretty easily go to because it was so impactful to see. Number two, who did I learn myself to be in that whole experience? Who did I learn myself to be, not only in being her mother for 15 years, but also in her loss? Like, who did I figure out I could become? How did I grow myself from that experience? So that's another thing that you can ask yourself. Hi, Chris. Thanks for coming on. So who did I know myself? How did I reach deeper into who I am and figure it out? And then the third thing, so I'm giving you three right off the bat of in this experience in my life, what I've done and how I've answered those questions in order to make it be something that works for me. So the first thing was I got to see the impact of my child's life in the world. The second thing was I got to see how I needed to grow and stretch, and I did. I rose to the occasion, and I'm grateful for that because now I have that for the next thing that comes down the line. Oh, if I could do that then, I can do this now. And then the third thing is that experience is a large part of why I get to do the work that I do now with people. So it's what I do for a living. I work with clients to help them get out of that stress and overwhelm and stuckness from their lives and create what they want going forward. And that's a joy. I love doing that. And if I hadn't had those experiences and I hadn't been able to shape them in that way, I wouldn't be doing this. I'd have to be doing something else. And I love that I do this. So there's three ways that I can answer that question for myself and have that be a win in my life. So that's what today's Monday's motivation magic is about, is this week. So I like to do this on a Monday so you can set it up in your mind for the week and sort of, try to remember it and be intentional about your week from this perspective. So this week, have some fun with it. The little things or big things that show up, take a step back, pause your breath. Thank you. Thank you, Facebook user. She says, this is awe-inspiring. I can't imagine. Yeah, and that's the gift of it, that I can use it to keep inspiring myself, right, for the next hard thing and to help people. And that's what I want you to be able to do. Everybody has their things. Everybody has things in their life that challenge them, that knock them down. And when we get the skills, so these questions are the beginning of creating those skills for yourself. So this week, have some fun with it. Make it be easy. When you notice something happening, you're stuck in traffic and you're like, oh, I can't believe I'm stuck in traffic. I'm going to be late. How can I make this be a win? Maybe as I'm sitting here, I could actually, with my Bluetooth, get caught up on some phone calls that I haven't been able to return, using your Bluetooth and driving safely, something like that. Or, I have a friend who, she was saying that she was counting on her accountant to pay the taxes all throughout the year. And when tax time came, she got this call from him that something hadn't been done right. And even though they had been making payments, she now owed a big chunk. And it was a big chunk. First, I don't know what happened. But anyway, she said, so here I am going, okay, how can I make this be a win? And so she said, well, first of all, I actually have the money to pay it. That's a win. So I really don't have to go down the path of, oh my God, what am I going to do? I do have the money. And since it's taxes, the only reason I'm paying those taxes is because I made the money. Oh, yeah, there's that, right? So she made that be a win. And then she said, um, and what I'm going to learn from this going forward is I'm not going to assume that everything's being handled. I'm actually going to check in on the when I do those quarterly payments, I'm going to actually check in with him. Where are we at? Is this, correct? Blah, blah, blah. She said, and I'm going to learn a lot more about taxes myself. I'm not going to do them. I'm still going to have my accountant do them, but I'm going to learn a lot more about them myself, which is just going to make me a smarter, more engaged person in my life. It's a win for me. I wouldn't have bothered to do that, but now I'm going to, and now I'm going to actually own myself as a taxpayer. Okay. So yeah, it's your opportunity, and it's your choice. But if you do that, I would love to see how your week unfolds and share some of what you turned into a win when it seemed like it wasn't going to be when it first unfolded. Okay. So there you have it. There's your Monday Mindset Magic. I'll see you tomorrow and we'll talk about something else. All right. Have a great day. Take care. Bye.